Welcome to Latinx Launchpad. Introducing Roy Cosme, President of Arcos Communications.
Good afternoon. I'm gonna bring in the energy from earlier in the morning and earlier yesterday. It's 4 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. Thank you for that great welcome. I am so excited to be here for the Latinx Launchpad. This is HIP's new pitch competition, and it's a series that will discover, amplify, and grow the pipeline of investable Latinx startups. Its leaders across the U.S. So thank you all for being here. Along this series is along with HIP's Power Up Fund, and that's our strategic approach to building Latinx wealth by increasing our participation in the startup economy. Each Launchpad, this is going to be a series. So each launch, thank you for that support of that big initiative, right? That's a big idea for us. Each Launchpad has a different theme. Today's pitch competition, while open to all Latino-led startups, will highlight the depth of the local Southern California pipeline. Later this year, we will have another one that'll focus on Latina startups, and you'll see that each of these Launchpads will have a different theme like that. As a benefit for participating this afternoon, each startup will have access to HIP's philanthropic and startup network. They will receive feedback from the judges and from the audience, so get ready to provide your feedback, and have a chance to compete for some cash prizes. The first prize will be $15,000, second prize $10,000, and third prize $5,000. And then we'll have an audience choice award as well for $5,000 as well. Yeah, so your input makes a difference. Okay, each startup will have about 5 minutes to, not about, exactly 5 minutes to pitch. Followed by a 5-minute Q&A from our esteemed judges, who I will introduce in just a few minutes. A timekeeper will provide us with cues. Sonia, thank you. And audience members will be encouraged to engage in 2 ways: provide helpful and supportive feedback and comments via the event app, the CVent app, or choose the audience award by voting for your favorite presentation. At the end of all presentations, the judges will conclude our event by providing their overall impressions, and winners will be announced this evening. So this is like an immediate gratification thing. So it'll be great to, and I'm excited to hear all the presentations. So before we begin the pitches, let me introduce our judges, our esteemed panel of judges. First, we have Carmen Palafox. Carmen is based here in LA. She is co-founder of Mila Capital and is founding partner of at 2045 Ventures. So welcome, Carmen.
Thank you.
Next we have Emmanuel Pleites. He also based here in LA. And Emmanuel is co-founder of East Los Capital. So thank you, Emmanuel. And then from my hometown, San Antonio, is Raul Lomelí Azuel. I've known Raul for 20 years. He just reminded me of that. He's based in San Antonio, and he's co-founder and executive chairman of Welcome Technologies, Inc. So thank you, Raul, and thank you all to all our judges. We're looking forward to your participation. All right, and now let's begin with the startup presentations. The pitch order has been randomly selected, and first, please help me welcome First on stage is Everlaunch from Glendale, California, represented by Michelle Heng. If she's here. There she is.
Awesome. Right. Hello, everyone. Hello. Introduce myself. Give me a second. Okay. Hello.
Go for it.
Amazing. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Heng. I am the CEO and co-founder of Everlaunch, an interactive toolkit that helps entrepreneurs dream, build, and launch. Now, before I get into my presentation, I just want to give you a little bit of my background. 5 years ago, I came to LA, and I came to LA with $200 to my name. No network. And since then, I am an agency represented model. I got married and I started 3 businesses. So Loca in the dictionary is synonymous with my name. Where is the slide? Oh, there you go. So when I came to LA, I met Alma, who became Everlaunch's first investor, co-founder, and biggest cheerleader. This year, I hired my first employee ever, Bianca, who has a MSW from Columbia University. Our tech is supported by Stay Shore to help us advance affordably our tech and our security, and we are supported by virtual assistants. Okay. I went too ahead. Oh, here we go. Sorry, guys. Trying to click softly. The slides are malfunctioning, guys. So for whatever reason, my slide's not showing, but the problem that I'm trying to solve is that in 2020, 5.9 million businesses were started. The US saw the biggest applications ever by the Census Bureau, and data shows that 20% of these businesses are going to fail, or probably already have since we're so close to the end of the year. That means 2 million businesses are going to fail due to no market need, ineffective business planning, and cash flow and pricing problems. That's why I built what I like to call the Duolingo of business. And what we do essentially is we help entrepreneurs through the entire business building process from idea to launch in order to centralize and simplify entrepreneurship education using leveraging actually microlearning strategies and gamification to break it down to 9 levels. All right, so in these 9 levels, we essentially took research that we've done from our interviews with new business owners, and we cover about anywhere from pricing to financial modeling to business plan that generates from the user's answers. Essentially, we're just trying to reduce the amount of mistakes that founders make when they're starting a business that lead to failure. Now, how it works essentially is that we've taken the data that we've had for the last 2 years, and we've created 6 focuses that help us advance the entrepreneur. And coming very soon will be our community. Now, our business model is pretty simple. We're just $19 a month. In the next 6 months, we plan to create a new subscription levels. We also make money off of the commissions, and from the research that we have, we've forecasted to be $850 for a lifetime value of the user. And I'm gonna skip a few slides because of my time. Sorry guys, this button's not being my best friend right now. Next slide.
There we go.
Oh, Okay, so for the market side, we're planning to capture 2% of a $50 billion market. It was in 2019, $50 billion was spent to start a business in the US, and 2% is what we aim to capture by onboarding 1.2 million entrepreneurs within the next 5 to 8 years. And for the most part, here's our traction slide. We launched on May 27th, and we were able to raise $72,000 since. We've gained 600 users, and we placed number 4 on Product Hunt. And these are some of our partnerships. Unfortunately, my go-to-market slide is not working, but for the most part, we are partnering with our mentors to build a proper, realistic market strategy to help us launch. With our Product Hunt launch, we were successful, so now we're moving on to this. Thank you.
Okay, as you can see, 5 minutes goes by very
Yes.
quickly. And I'm sorry for your tech issues,
Yeah.
but let's hear it for
Thank you guys so much.
Everlaunch and Michelle Hang. Questions from the judges now, please.
Hello, everyone.
We have 5 minutes for Q&A.
Now you get to ask all the questions you didn't see.
I'll start. Can you talk about who your customer is, how you segment that customer,
Absolutely.
what their profile is?
Absolutely, yes. So we're really focusing on the small business owner. Our go-to-market strategy is women of color because they're the fastest growing entrepreneurial group. And so essentially we started focusing on it because that's the network that I have most access to right now. But obviously we hope to, increase our segments down the line. But that's really our main focus is small businesses and focusing on women of color.
Okay, and one follow-up if it's okay. How do you reach
How do I reach?
that customer segment?
Well, thanks to the increased opportunities in 2020 and 2021, due to having all these amazing opportunities like this, I've been able to increase my network vastly. Most of our users right now have been either from Product Hunt or word of mouth. But as I tap into these partners, I'm starting to build partnerships with the organizations that I've become part of to help be kind of like the pre-accelerator for some of these organizations. And so some of these things are kind of in the work on the enterprise level.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'll go next. So you said you raised $78,000?
So we've raised to date $72,500. 32 of it has been from grants from organizations like Grid 110 and SoGal, Facebook, and we just got our first $40,000 check committed to our $600,000 round, which is really exciting because now I'm part of the tiny percent of women that raise money.
Nice. Could you talk about, so it's not, your goal 600,000 is your first round,
Yes.
but how do you, can you talk about the uses of cash and how you want to invest?
Oh, 100%. So one of the things that we're really excited about right now is that we're developing our platform to not only onboard some of the experts that we've been working with, but we plan to develop our customer base. And that's the most important priority, is getting a customer base. So we're going to start with community, and we would like to hire a community manager because I realized that the more I connect with these entrepreneurs, the more they're like, oh, let's start an accountability group. Oh, let's do this. Oh, let's do that. And I realized that community, even in my own personal journey, has been the essence of entrepreneurship, bringing access, bringing, connections, intros, things that normally I never had access to when I first started entrepreneurship. So our money usage has been really going to development, but also mostly building out our customer acquisition pipeline.
I love the fact that you started talking about your team. I think at the beginning, it's your team what's leading you. What are going to be the next 2 most important hires that you need to make?
Absolutely. I already have them on the docket. One of them is Angela. She is our viral content creator, as well as our head of marketing. She comes from USA Today. She is on her way to an offer letter literally next week. But for the most part, the next hire is going to be the community management aspect. For the most part,
What is the second hire?
the community management. We really want someone to focus on cultivating a community. I think that's the most integral part for our next steps. Yeah. Any more questions?
What about technology? Who's the tech team?
So right now we have outsourced our tech team to someone that I really enjoy working with. They're called Stay Shore. The CEO is Alex, and he has been so fundamental in helping me create a product pipeline, because It's not affordable outside of it. CTOs are invisible. I don't know where they are, but they have kind of become our interim CTO, and it's really like affordable, especially for our budget. And they have been literally running through the updates, which I'm really excited about.
Since you launched them May 27th, can you talk about any customers? They have any customers
Yes,
join?
so when we launched on Product Hunt in May 27th, we increased our growth from our like original beta users that were like around 200 to like 600 and something in the last 3 months. And it was really awesome because we got global customers we didn't expect to get so soon. We got from Chile, Argentina, but also Europe, Germany, and just random parts of the world I've never heard of as well. And it was really exciting to see the demand in different places, which gives me hope for the global, takeover.
Yeah.
So
Any paying customers?
not yet. We've kind of been giving everyone an extended trial so that we can keep interviewing them, because my goal really is to create a company that's really feedback oriented, because I don't want to build something that no one wants. So we're actually updating our monetization on October 4th. We're launching our newest version that you kind of sort of saw, and it's going to be really exciting. So yeah.
And how did you come up with the pricing model? It's at $19 a month.
Yes, so we
Right.
kind of looked at pretty much everything that existed, and $19 kind of was like the happy medium. And we're still early, so we're gonna be testing that a lot and seeing what we can increase, what we can decrease, what works, what doesn't work. So $19 was like the starting point.
Okay, that's all the time we have.
Awesome.
I feel like I'm up here with the pictures, and the first 5 minutes went really fast, and these last 5 minutes is like the grilling of the questions from the judges came really slow. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, our next startup pitch is from Concierge Bot from Palm Springs, California. And here to present this startup is the CEO and founder, James Silva. James Silva from Concierge Bot is next on the stage, please. Ahí viene.
Got good music though.
I know.
Hello, can you all hear me? Great. Hi. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. My name is James Silva, and I'm the founder and CEO of Concierge Bot, an artificially intelligent virtual concierge for travel and hospitality. Today, I'm going to talk a bit about our journey and a little bit about the exciting opportunities ahead of us. Next slide, there we go. So the inspiration for Concierge Bot really came from my experiences as an Airbnb host of my vacation home in Palm Springs. And I noticed that as an Airbnb host that I was answering a lot of the same questions over and over again. Guests would have questions about the Wi-Fi or about where to go, where to access things in the house. I also noticed that guests were asking me questions about information that they could find in other places, either in a mobile app or in an email or in a printed guidebook. Lastly, I noticed that guests wanted the host's personal recommendations on things to do, places to go eat, instead of going to Yelp or Google. So I wanted to build a tool that could help my guests get the answers to the questions that they need immediately without having to wait for me and without me having to take time to respond to them. Hence the solution, Concierge Bot. Concierge Bot is an artificially intelligent virtual concierge offering contactless service for the guests of the travel and hospitality industry over popular messaging platforms such as SMS, WhatsApp, web, and voice. Provides always-on service without the need for travelers to download apps or log into websites, creating accounts. Our customers are the hotels, property management companies, and vacation rental homeowners, such as myself, who want to provide a luxury concierge to their guests at a reasonable price. We work closely with our customers to provide a branded conversational experience for their guests, and also to escalate any important matters that arise during conversations with guests to appropriate human support staff. Here's a bit about how it works. Let's say I'm on a trip to San Francisco. I've already received a welcome message from the chatbot over SMS. It's in my message history. I can access it anytime. And I have a question about checkout. I forget, I want to ask, I'm on the go, I'm out and about. What time is checkout? So I send a text message to the chatbot. It goes to the Concierge Bot backend. And based on the phone number and booking reservation, and as well as data and information about the trip and about the local amenities, we can provide a custom personalized response directly to myself, to the traveler, in real time without me having to wait for a human assistant to answer my question. I get the answer I need in a short amount of time, and I can go on with my trip. Concierge Bot is a white labeled software as a service subscription-based model. We charge one-time upfront costs for setup and customization, any integrations with existing software, any customized responses or content. We and then go to a subscription-based model for per unit, which is a unit as a room or a stay, a hotel room or a vacation rental. We're really excited about this because of the market opportunity. There's a $570 billion global hospitality industry, as well as 7 million active Airbnb listings around the world. And we want to, for Concierge Bot, gain a stake in the hospitality market and then expand to adjacent markets such as customer service, property management, and healthcare. This is our team, fully distributed, fully remote. I myself have a background in software engineering and product management, graduated with a computer science degree from Stanford University, worked at eBay, Expedia, and Adobe. Our UX designer, Angelina Montañez, is based in North Carolina, and our intern, Punet Rubio, is studying computer science at the University of Michigan. We are generating revenue, and we have customers, paying customers, both in the US and Europe. And we also have a pipeline of customers around the globe. For these asks, we would love any introductions to potential clients, customers, any strategic advisors, and investors. So we're really excited. And again, my name is James. My company is Concierge Bot. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Okay, now we get to the grilling round from the judges. 5 minutes for Q&A. Please, judges.
Sure, I'll start. So can you tell us about, is it working and
Yes.
who's using it and how much are they paying?
Yes, so it is working. We have customers who are using it. They pay anywhere from $500 to $1,000 for the setup. And then they pay maybe like between $2 to $5 per unit. So we have a client in San Diego area. They pay, they have about 20 units that they manage. They pay about $3 per month per unit, but they paid a $500 setup fee. We also have clients that are, we have a software client in Portugal. We're building the bot for them to integrate into their mobile hotel app. So they build software for 300,000 hotel rooms around the globe. And so we're integrating we're building our chatbot to integrate via APIs into their system. So they'll be paying a lower per rate cost, but when we expand, we'll be billing them per room per month, as well as an onboarding fee for each hotel.
Next question, judges.
I mean, fascinating presentation, by the way, because of the complexity that it takes and the background you're bringing.
Mhm.
Have you brought already, how do you stay afloat? Have you already raised some money?
So I raised a small friends and family round, just about $20,000, and looking to now do a larger raise. Since I'm a software engineer, I write my own code, so that helps cut down on development costs. I've had some work with user experience design, a little bit of sales and marketing help for my intern, but definitely looking to raise so I can get a larger team around me.
Can you talk about who your customer is? Because it sounded from the presentation that you had hotels, Airbnb hosts,
Mhm.
and then there was a third bucket. So how does your value proposition change across those different segments?
So with vacation rental property managers, they often are short-staffed and don't have the same 24/7 support staff of a hotel. So they're often working during the day to check people in. And then at night, they answer questions and support the guests. A hotel is going to have people on site to do those things. So for property managers, for vacation rentals, their value proposition is really around, oh, you have this bot that can answer the common questions that don't need a human support to answer. And then we can escalate those issues that do arise. For hotels, it's really about, one is about reducing the number of staff that they need to answer these questions and the time that they spend, so they can spend time on bigger issues. The other is with hotels, people want the contactless service. So they don't want to have to pick up the hotel phone and talk to somebody or have to interact with someone they just want to get into their room. And now hotels are having to adapt to, with older systems, having to adapt to the expectations of guests, which have changed with COVID. So with hotels, it's more of a proposition of we have to get up to speed with expectations in COVID. With vacation rental property managers, it's more about we need the support so that we can give our guests the access, the support, help when they're not available, because they're not necessarily available. They don't have the staff and availability that a hotel staff would have.
And then in terms of that customer segment, is it a fragmented market? How do you reach them?
So I have a background in search engine optimization. So we've leaned on that heavily to get organic traffic from Google. So if people do search for these types of solutions, chatbots, and that's really where we've gotten a lot of organic traffic globally. So we were scouted by an accelerator in Portugal that wanted to bring the latest technology to the Portuguese market. And so we actually got to go in person in June to Portugal to pitch, and got a couple clients, prospects out of that. So organic traffic has been great. Other than that, just word of mouth, social media, advertising. A lot of these properties and hotels post on social media. So that's been a great source of leads as well. But we definitely want to throw some resources at some more mature sales and marketing tactics.
So with AI, it's all about the data, initial data.
Yes,
Where do you
yes.
get the data when you land a customer?
So the data comes from, well, one from our customers. So they may have what are called channel managers. So they have like software that they use to manage their properties. That's one place. We can use public sources of data, such as like Open Weather Map has API data. We can get public data from Yelp, but we also just really rely on the data that our hosts provide us. So it could be YouTube videos. A lot of Airbnb hosts provide things in YouTube videos. Guidebook. Sometimes we just say, here, just give us your guidebook in a PDF, and we will parse it. We will figure it out. So I really just want as much information as possible, because that's the data that's not necessarily publicly accessible, but it really is so personal to the stay, to the hotel, and that's the data you want to make accessible, because that's when people travel. That's what they look for. They can go online and find information anywhere, but they really want the custom experience based on what their host does.
So you're
Okay,
already,
I'm sorry, that's all the time we have. I'm sorry, Raul. So I want to remind the audience that you can be supportive of these startup founders by providing your feedback on the app, on the Cvent app. So that's for all the folks here in the room, and also to our virtual audience. So please do so. And if you have any feedback for James, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. So thank you very much for being with us. Thank you, and good luck. Okay, we have our third presenter coming up. Actually, this is a group of co-founders and the CEO of SignSpeak. They are from New York. I'm not sure they're from New York, New York. I think they're from Rochester, New York, because I met actually these folks, as these were the first folks I met when I came into the conference yesterday. So please welcome Yamilet Payano, Nicolas Kelly, and Nicholas Wilkins.
You probably didn't understand that. That is the daily experience of more than 48 million deaf and hard hearing Americans, and also the 430 million all around the world. My name is Nicholas Kelly. With me here today, I have a wonderful co-founder, Yamilet Payano and Nicholas Wilkins. Growing up deaf, I have experienced Catlin communication barriers that unfortunately are still here today. When I arrived to this wonderful conference, when I got on the phone, I was offered a wheelchair because I was deaf. After I take care of that awkward situation, I went to get my rental car, and the customer service agent was unaware how to interact with that person and did not have the proper technology to do so. So I had to invite my co-founders to get through that situation as well. But that experience creates an unhealthy codependency on others to get through my daily day-to-day life. That is the reason why the end goal of SignSpeak is about any type of hard hearing individual all around the world to communicate at their own term using their primary sign language.
Thank you, Nico, for that wonderful introduction. At the Thank you, Nico, for that wonderful introduction. Again, my name is Yami Payano, and at its core of what we're trying to do at ScienceSpeak is to advance communication to make it more accessible. Next slide, please. As a society nowadays, we're grappling with diversity and inclusion more than ever. And while we have made great strides towards equity in terms of race, gender, and sexual orientation, an aspect of diversity and inclusion that we often forget is disability. Well, like Nico said, there's 48 million deaf and hard of hearing individuals in the United States alone, with an 87 billion annual purchasing power. That is 14% of our population that over 280 million Americans cannot communicate effectively with. Next slide. That is why the problem that ScienceSpeak is trying to solve is that there's no cost-effective way to be in compliance with the American with Disability Act, both businesses in the private and public sector, to be able to communicate with deaf and hard of hearing individuals, customers, constituents, and employees on demand. This is not an issue that only Fortune 500 companies face, but this is a problem that 32 million businesses in America face. And let's not even talk about the international need for this. Next slide. That is why we believe that this is the right time for ScienceSpeak solution. What we have developed is a patent pending sign language recognition technology that allows both businesses and government to communicate with deaf and hard of hearing customers, constituents, and employees in American Sign Language. What makes us truly unique is that we can be integrated in any off-the-shelf device. I'm talking about your phone, your laptop, or your iPad. Next slide, please. What you're seeing in your screen is an actual interaction in one of our deployments in Mozzaria, one of the most famous deaf-owned business in America. As you can see from the picture, the deaf employee is using our software to translate ASL into English for the hearing patron. Now, the hearing patron can either voice or type, and that is translated into American Sign Language for the deaf employee. At Mozzaria, we're used on average 90 times a day. And although we're pre-revenue, we do get indirect value through our beta customers, providing endorsement and marketing opportunities. Next slide. Now, when talking to our beta customer, not only in Washington, D.C., but also in Rochester, New York, and having early conversations with companies like Comcast, we realized that they're looking at our solution in 3 different buckets. One, they want to expand to a new market. Like I said earlier, the deaf and hard of hearing community is worth $87 billion. Second, we're mitigating their litigation risk, both for the American with Disability Act, as well as Section 508 of the Rehabilitation Act. This is a problem that we see mainly with Fortune 500 companies, but small to medium businesses also think about this as you're thinking of your brand awareness. And third, they want to see our service internal facing to be able to hire people with accessibility needs. Next slide. Now, where are we today? We have signed exclusive contract until the end of the year with our beta customers in different verticals. We have filed our patent application. We continue to hire key personnel to make our software better. And in the next couple of months, we're raising money to be able to continue to expand our sales force and support larger customers. Next slide. In terms of team, you have Nicholas Kelly, myself, and Nicholas Wilkins. We have Google engineers, quantitative analysts, and advocates in the space. Next slide, please. Now, to summarize, this is a big market and social impact opportunity. We have a powerful business model as we can integrate with any off-the-shelf device, and we are a product-driven team. Thank you very much, and with that, I will open it to questions.
Okay, let's hear it for ScienceSpeak. Judges, please.
Great presentation, and thank you for going over the numbers. That's great to learn more about this market. Can you talk about your beta? What are the keys to success?
So really what we have learned is that our beta, we need to really crack down on integration, right? We have the technology, and one of the many issues that we're having right now is how do we integrate in different sections and different locations properly? For example, in Rochester, New York, we have a beta customer who's outside. So we had to think about how do we deal with light? How do we inform the deaf customer that the technology is there for them and how to use it? So really integration is where we've seen most of the hiccups that we've worked through. So we have iterated over 25 times to make sure that we deal with some of those hiccups.
Who else is on the team? You mentioned engineers and other folks.
Yeah, so we have Nicholas Wilkins. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. Nice to meet you. My name is Nicholas Wilkins. I am an ex-Google software engineer, and I sort of joined this team because I was really sort of moved by the mission. In addition to me, we also have 6 data collectors who are ASL fluent. They basically provide us the training data for the machine learning, which we use in conjunction with our data augmentation pipeline. And then we're currently actually hiring for some full-time positions because we actually just closed a round.
Sorry, since you answered close the round, what is the round?
So we have actually closed a 250K round. Unfortunately, our investors are still undisclosed. We need to wait for public announcement, but one of them is a major tech company here in Silicon Valley, and then a major accelerator whose name we will keep under wraps. Yeah.
How do you all meet and how long have you been working together?
So actually we live together, we work together, we have a dog together. So yeah, we actually, Nicholas and Nico have been working on this and they met at RIT when they were freshmen. Me and Nicholas met at the beginning of the pandemic as I was thinking, of course, of getting my master's in computer science. And I was sort of thinking about it on like, how can I integrate my business acumen with my technical knowledge as well as my need for activism? And he talked to me about Science Speak. And ever since then, we've been working very hard together to the point that I quit my job at Fannie Mae, moved to Rochester, and now we've been doing this for about 9 months together.
What were you doing at Fannie Mae?
I was a quantitative analyst.
What did you study in undergrad?
I was an econ and math major with a minor in Mandarin.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are the data collectors paid right now?
Yes.
Or are they all volunteers?
No, we pay them minimum wage right now, and they're sort of part-time workers. We do, as we increase so there's 2 ways to scale this, right? There's technical scalability, which means we need additional resources on the technical side to be able to grow our data. Right now, we have one of the largest American Sign Language label data set out there. So we need to increase that in order to be able to continue our first mover advantage and then be able to move into more complex situation. What really makes us unique, I think, is that it's not only the right time socially, it's also the right time technologically. We're one of our kind. And so then the next question of scalability is business, sales and marketing, which again can also be fixed with adding resources to our sales team, but also partnering with organizations that do prioritize diversity and inclusion from a holistic thesis rather than just looking at race and gender, for example.
You mentioned your pre-revenue and you mentioned as well that you're patent pending. But have you already defined what your business model is going to be? Monetization, is it hardware? Is it subscription?
Yeah, our business model is B2B2C, and we're charging a subscription base to be able to then be able on a monthly basis to be able to provide our service. Now, what we have done is.
Sorry, Yami, to cut you short. I'm sorry, time is up and I'm sorry to interrupt, but thank you.
Everybody.
All right, that was Sign Speak. I think I failed to say the name when I introduced you initially. I just introduced you personally. So Sign Speak. All right, we're in the middle. We have 2 more to go. And next we have the startup Neutro from Los Angeles and Los Angeles, California and Mexico. So curious to hear how that's working across. And here to present Neutro is Jorge Vizcaino Garcia.
Thank you.
Vizcaino. It's Vizcaino, no?
Vizcaino, yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I am Jorge Vizcaino. I am the co-founder of Neutro. With Neutro, what we're doing here, we're simplifying the produce procurement for businesses across Latin America. So the problem that, next slide, please. The problem that we found is that the supply chain, there is too many middlemen in the process. From one end, this occasionates that farmers are strangled by too many markups. And at the same time, business owners are just paying overpriced products. Next slide, please. To give you an idea, farmers like Adan get less than 18% of the product retail price. An avocado that is sold at $1 at his farm. Oh, next slide. Oh, thank you. At his farm, is sold at $2.5 to $5 on a retail and wholesale levels. And there is no way for him to negotiate to better profit. The issue is that there is no transparency and they cannot know what the price is that's at different distribution levels. Can you go to the next? So we found a way to solve it. So we're vertically integrating with farmers and connecting with local distributors in a way that we can streamline the products more directly to business owners. With this, we're able to put a more efficient process in which we know what products are resold, how much the farmers and distributors want for their products, and at the same time, we reach out to restaurants, hotels, and mom and pop shops to know what products they want, so we can make sure that we can ship it to their doors. Next, please. By using Neutral, business owners can have fresher and more affordable products. They can simplify the procurement process with a traceable way. And at the same time, they can access for inventory management tooling, as well as analytics to plan better their buying orders. Next, please. On the supply side, farmers and distributors can get instant validation of their products. They can get a price range based on the quality, and at the same time, they can accept or reject the buying order, which will trigger kind of the drop-off and dropping process for the procurement. At the same time, with the same platform, they can know what the prices are in the market to be able to know whether they want to sell the products or wait a little bit for that to make it a better profit. That kind of went off, but we're looking at a very important opportunity to solve this problem. The market here, it's a $59 billion market, talking about Latin America produce, wholesale, and we're first focusing on the 1.3 billion that represent the 70,000 restaurants that are across the main cities in Mexico. Can you go next? In terms of the team, I'm super happy about my partners. I have partnered with Blanca and Jorge. Combined, we have more than 14 years of experience in companies like Uber, Amazon, and state-of-the-art logistics in Unilever and end-to-end analytics. For myself, this is my third venture in 5 years, and I have more than 7 years of experience developing hardware and software products. Next. And the business model is actually pretty simple. We're a B2B managed marketplace, similar to an e-commerce. What we do is we buy the product and the responsibility of selling it, and we guarantee the quality and the lifespan to the customers as we promised. At the same time, these products don't spend more than 24 hours in our facilities, so it's more or less like a drop shipping for produce. We can make a 20% to 35% depending on the supplier side, and we provide also 3 different types of delivery. One is for free, so it depends on where your business is located. We schedule the delivery for you. You can also pay $5 per month to get up to 4 deliveries on demand to your business. And the last one for enterprises, what we do is we focus on customizing the procurement process so then food chains as well as franchises can adopt our product as well. Next. But this is not all. We're focusing on first with restaurants, mom and pop shops, and hotels, but we want to go more for wholesale channels, such as supplying CPG factories as well as export trades. We really want to aim to streamline in a more efficiently and fairly way to the more than $29 billion that Latin America imports to the US. So I'm really, next, thank you. We're really humbled to be here, so more than happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
So Jorge, you actually did that in 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, I speak fast.
Okay, open for questions now from the judges panel.
I mean, you're presenting here a huge problem that needs to be resolved, right? Massive. I have so many questions. I don't even really know where to start. Chicken or the egg, right? You're talking about, you're saying all the right things. You're talking about you buying the products, you control the quality, you know, that way you can sell to restaurants, but where do you start? Have you already begun somewhere to be able to prove this model? Yeah.
So we're a 3-month company as well, just like a little bit of concept. So in July, we launched a pilot in Mexico City where we were able to grow 200% week over week, delivering straight to restaurants and hotels. So it was kind of very interesting to find out that we were able to get actual products from the wholesale at the beginning to kind of how to put it, secure the supply so we can actually go to the restaurants and provide those products as in the means of getting the minimum quantities to reach out to farmers. So that was kind of the way we kind of solved the chicken and egg, was first securing with the existing supply chain the products as we continue to grow the demand and start jumping to farmers. So that's kind of how we kick started at the beginning a couple of months ago.
So what's the next 3 months look like?
So the next 3 months, we are actually in kind of the fundraising side because we capped our capacity in the small kind of warehouse that we got. So right, we're fundraising to kickstart and bring back more people to like go into more distribution. We know we want to get into a large volume as fast as possible. To give you an idea, we have like already like 4 to 6 farmers like waiting for us to just tell yes to bring like tomatoes from their farms to the restaurant, because we pay like 20 to 30% more than what they get in the market. So that's for us, is we want to like launch our kind of fully, not just pilot, by the end of October with these funds that we're receiving.
So while there was a pilot, what are the unit economics then?
The unit economics were kind of similar, a little bit like off in kind of probably 5%. So from wholesale, we would make like 15% on average on each product. And from the like 2 farmers that we piloted with, it was about like 30 to 32% on the margins.
And what products are you like farmers in what sector?
Yeah, the good thing is in Mexico, we grow essentially everything. So like, just to give you a little bit of context, like 60% in California of the products that is consumed come from Mexico or Latam. So that's, we just are able to attain to like a bunch of little farmers. We started with from tomatoes to lettuces to tropical fruits. So we have a catalog of 70 products of today. And we want to expand it up to like 200. That I think it's going to be the interesting number for us.
And 70 of those 70 products, which ones are the most popular?
The most popular are kind of like tomatoes. I mean, I was gonna say the most Mexican. So it's tomatoes, tomatillo or like green tomato, and onions for all the salsas, and also the green small pepper for sauce. So I think those are mainly the most sold ones in the marketplace.
How much are you raising?
So we're raising 400K so far, and we are already in like 20%. So hopefully.
So how are you going to split up the 400K in terms of uses of cash?
So I would let's in percentages, we're aiming for somehow like 30% in terms of operations, like building our kind of the facilities and warehouses. Then the other 40 to 45 on product. So getting all the team and developing. I'm a developer myself, but I cannot unfortunately do all of that. And then the rest is going to be for acquisition. So the strategy, since it's a B2B way, we need kind of a sales team and putting all the kind of acquisition funnel on board to make it happen. So that's a little bit on the split.
Do you have any other engineers on the team?
So Jorge is as well another engineer. He focuses more on the data aspect. So like today he operates half with Netro, half still part-time with Accenture. He's a data science manager. So on the data side, we're very backed. But in terms of like product code, I'm still the only person building the platform.
Where are you going to hire the rest of the technical team?
So that's the interesting part. We're mixed. We're half here in LA, half in Mexico City for those reasons. We want talent to become like Latin and in both ways. And we know that I graduated from USC, and we know we can capture very good talent from here. So I think that's kind of the value out of being in a mixed way in that sense. So I think it could be Mexico, it could be here, or we can go remote. That we don't necessarily focus that much in the tech in that sense.
You get into a contract with the farmers to commit to certain purchase. How do you go about that? So
it's a trust problem. So definitely you need to like approach on a way that you need to like get them to like trust you at the beginning, because you cannot just come and I'm an app and they'll buy that one. So I think it has to be also kind of a sales process, which you kind of gave the trust, show them that the data and the value it's there, and then you bring them on board on sometimes contracts. Sometimes they want to try you out for like a couple of weeks, and then you can get them on board with a more kind of formalized contract. So it's definitely a heavy duty process in the sales side for that, but I think it's definitely doable in this sense.
Okay, we're out of time.
All right. I mean, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jorge. Such a diversity of talent and lots of energy from all our startups. We're down to the final or up to the final startup, and we're going to hear next from College Thrifts from Los Angeles, California. And here to present is the CEO and founder, Patricia Garcia.
Hello, everyone. Today I'll be presenting college thrifts. So throughout my time at the undergrad, my name is Patricia Garcia. I am a recent college grad as of May. And throughout my time at the undergraduate level, I had the opportunity of experiencing distinct college campuses and cultures. From walking the halls at MIT at 19 as an undergraduate engineering researcher to participating in hackathons at schools like Harvard, Stanford, and the University of Miami, I realized there was one thing all these institutions of higher education had in common, and that was inaccessible collegiate gear. Walk into any college bookstore, no matter where in the nation, and you'll be sure to spot the $65 crew neck, besides the $50 sweatpants and the $35 tee. With the rising cost of tuition, room and board, and other college-related expenses, the average college student cannot afford this. As a low-income student from Little Havana in Miami, walking into my college bookstore was something that I dreaded. And it's been quite clear that these universities are excluding these lower-income students like myself. I was experiencing this issue, but I needed to understand if other students were as well. So I surveyed 1,000 students from across the US, representing over 250 institutions, and here's what they had to say. 98% of students said that wearing college gear would positively enhance their collegiate experience, but a staggering 85% said that the gear at the university bookstore was simply unaffordable. And that's why I founded College Thrifts. Think Tinder for sustainable collegiate gear and higher education networking. College Thrifts is an inclusive peer-to-peer marketplace for students and alumni to buy and sell gently used collegiate gear and network amongst users. In addition, we're also supporting 4 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals focused on sustainable communities and cities and promoting economic development. We differentiate ourselves from our competitors like Poshmark and OfferUp because we're gamifying what sustainability looks like. Students on our platforms are able to track not only their individual carbon footprint, but their carbon footprint as a university campus as a whole. And we reward this through academic scholarships. Our business model is quite straightforward. The users would snap a photo of the item they want to sell, select the university the item belongs to, package the item, and then get paid. Our revenue plan would be quite straightforward. We'd be largely dependent on in-app sales, where we take 20% of every sale and then focus on targeted advertisements, wanting to partner with organizations that are focused on getting students into college and retaining them, such as Michelle Obama's Retire campaign. Our customers have been mostly high school seniors, college students, and college alumni, which each have a different reason to be on our platform. And as I said earlier, we differentiate ourselves from our competitors because we have the opportunity, or we give individuals the opportunity to filter by school, where they can track their carbon footprint. We're implementing a social networking aspect, and we don't have a listing fee. Go to market, we'd be largely dependent on our college ambassador program, which comes at a low customer acquisition cost, leveraging influencer marketing and geofence advertising. As per the total addressable market, we realize, especially amongst our target customers, thrifting and purchasing of secondhand is quite popular. So this area or this market was valued at $24 billion in 2018, and it's projected to grow to over $51 billion in the upcoming years. And you may be wondering how we know that this works. So during the pandemic, I launched this platform to buy and sell collegiate gear on Instagram. And today we have over 5,000 followers representing over 250 schools, including HSI, such as the one I'm a recent grad of. And there's students from all over the nation. In terms of some numbers, our average selling price is $32.32, and we're saving students 50% of the college bookstore prices, and we've rerouted over 1,000 pounds of waste. I like to say our impact has been recognized nationally. We've won a couple pitch competitions, been featured in NASDAQ and the Miami Herald, and ultimately I've had the opportunity to represent my city on a national platform. I am the founder and CEO. I have just recently graduated from Florida International University in Miami, and I started my grad studies at USC this fall. So with that, together we can foster inclusivity, spark sustainable consumption behavior, and make college campuses a better place. Thank you.
Okay, let's open the round of questions.
Yeah. How's it going since you launched? How many items have been bought and sold?
So great question. Our app is not up yet. This has been all through Instagram, but to date, we've sold over 670 items, and we take a 20% cut. So at an average selling price of $32.32, that's roughly $6.46 on every order. So that totals to a little over $4,500 in revenue on the 20% model.
And are you taking hold of the inventory and doing anything with it, or is it a
No,
straight-
so I'm the middle person. I'm just connecting the students and the alumni or the users and the buyers. So we don't touch any of the inventory.
Got it. And what's the customer journey like and the experience?
Sure. So funny enough, on our MVP, when we had a recent sale out of Florida, where I just give the address to the individual buying, and this alumni assumed that the item that was just bought was from an incoming freshman. So this individual left a note in the package, and when it got to the recipient, the note had said, "Hey, I've just graduated." It was from FAU. "I've just graduated. If you need any help navigating this college journey, please let me know." So we've seen between this experience that it's starting to become more than just a platform to buy and sell goods. People are creating relationships over these items of collegiate clothing, which some alumni would just throw out after the fact. So it's almost like we're creating these bonds over $20 used pieces of clothing.
I love how targeted your business model is. Based on your projections, how much money you're gonna need to raise to get to the point where you break even? Because there's gonna be a lot of marketing expense to be able to grow your user base.
Sure, great point. So right now, the followers that we've gotten so far has been basically word of mouth. So up to this point, the College Ambassador program that we've launched has been working quite well, which has come at a low customer acquisition cost. Right now, in terms of raising, I think the idea is if we can, at least for our launch, which is planned for September, we want to at least invest $5,000 into that and see where that takes. And then from that launch date, kind of analyze how much more we'd need to spend.
Who's coding the app?
Great question. So with these funds, if we were to win the first place of 15,000, the idea is that we would hand this over to a group of freelancers. I've been chatting with a couple of folks on Upwork, and the idea is for a launch hopefully for this upcoming spring semester. I have a background in engineering. I just completed Google's Applied Machine Learning Intensive through the National Action Council for Minorities Engineering this summer. So I have an engineering background, but it's not enough to code out this entire application. So we'll be largely dependent on some freelance work. And the idea for coming to USC was potentially to find a co-founder and go from there.
What do you study at USC?
So I'm getting my master's in product development engineering.
And why are other platforms charging listing fees and you're not?
So for example, right now, well, Depop, for example, won't charge a listing fee, but ThreadUp and some of these other ones, because the low income student in college, if I had to charge a listing fee, that would automatically deter me from going on the platform. So I think because we've started to create this niche community of college students, being in that mindset, knowing that I'm in their shoes and I'm the target audience, I know that they wouldn't do that. So I think that's what we're leveraging. I was in those shoes, know what it's like. So to create something of value for someone else who is in my shoes, we need to avoid that.
Any customer feedback on the actual products, and not just the experience of buying it, but like
Sure.
after and like
Sure.
products?
So I probably ran through the testimonial slide there, but a lot of folks have been like, I'm so happy that this is something that's created. So since we launched in May, I've been getting all the DMs of, hey, has this launched yet? Has this launched yet? It's like, this is why I apply to things like this, so that we can have the funds to create something of value for you. So the people have been anxiously waiting for the drop. I've been trying to work on the marketing material on the back end, hoping that the launch will start next semester, but people have been, or at least the college students have been eagerly awaiting the launch.
How many repeat buyers?
So right now, it has been largely dependent on the inventory we get. As we know, game day is coming up. So every game day we have, or college sports, is pretty often. So I would say out of the 700 users that we've had, maybe 50 are repeat buyers. Every time we get new followers, we try to, kind of up the marketing strategy to make sure we can keep them and increase that lifetime value of these people on the platform as of now.
Okay, we're up on time. Thank you,
Perfect.
Patricia.
Thank you.
As a business owner myself and a founder, I know how critical that funding can be at the onset of a business, that $15,000 prize. So we're gonna have a little bit of a change in program here because of our technical difficulties at the onset of the pitches. We're gonna allow Everlaunch to come back on stage and repitch and have their 5 minutes, hopefully without the technical difficulties. So please welcome back the founder, Michelle Hang.
Hello. Round two, guys, let's go. All right, so I'll wait for my little slide to come up. Awesome. I worked really hard on these slides, guys. Like, I was like, they're beautiful. I needed to show them to you. Anyways, let me start. Again, if you didn't see my pitch earlier, I'm the loca who started 3 businesses and moved to LA with $200 to my name. And in that process, I found my dream co-founder. She is our first investor, the one who said yes to us for the first time ever, and has been our cheerleader ever since. And we hired our first employee ever, which is really exciting, Bianca, who has a MSW from Columbia University. Our technology is handled by Stay Sure, an awesome team that makes our app look great and work great sometimes. And we have a amazing Swiss Army knives of virtual assistants that help us on our day-to-day. Now, the problem I'm trying to solve is that businesses are failing every year. In 2020, 5.9 million businesses started. And unfortunately, the data shows that 20% of them are going to fail. That means almost 2 million businesses are going to fail this year and probably already have. And they're going to fail because of no market need, ineffective business planning, cash flow pricing problems, and among other things. Now, we built what I like to call the Duolingo of business. It's the first of its kind interactive toolkit that guides entrepreneurs through the business creation process. Essentially, we are centralizing and simplifying entrepreneurship by leveraging micro-learning and gamification strategies. And we did that by breaking the business process down to 9 levels that covers a lot of the things that entrepreneurs should really focus on, like market research and pricing. And we provide a business plan that auto generates as the user answers questions in our content, and much more. And essentially, by leveraging these focuses through the data that we've essentially gathered through interviewing new business owners, we've been able to focus on expert curated, streamlined roadmaps, and a marketplace that has 200 tools for entrepreneurs. And again, the point is to centralize everything. And we're going to be focusing this next quarter on community. Our business model is pretty simple. We essentially start with $19 a month. We're going to be upgrading our subscription levels in the next 6 months. And we also make commissions off of our partners. We're operating in a $50 billion market. We plan to capture 2% by aggregating 1.2 million users in the next 5 to 8 years to our platform. And the traction up to date is that we've raised $72,000. We've been number 4 on Product Hunt when we launched, and we have over 600 users. And we have a growing list of partnerships and integration on our platform. Now, our go-to-market strategy is focusing on women of color because they're the fastest entrepreneurial growing, the fastest entrepreneurial group, the fastest growing entrepreneurial group. And thanks to our mentors, we've been able to create a really simple but realistic strategy for us that helps us tap into that network. Now, for our mentors, these are some, maybe you recognize this in LA, these are some of the great opportunities that we've been able to be part of. These people have given us access to things that I never thought we would be able ever to get access to, from intros to VCs to scientists, lawyers, the people that are hard to reach, but they've given us access to succeed essentially. And they've also introduced us to our amazing advisors who essentially have been really heading the way to help us democratize entrepreneurship, close the wealth gap, and essentially make Everlaunch, or help make Everlaunch, the one-stop shop for entrepreneurship. Thank you very much. And if you like what we essentially showed you, you can go ahead, point your camera at the screens and get this little cute QR code, and you can learn more about me and my company.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, I wasn't clear. These directions were not too clear for me, but I guess since you already had your 5 minutes of questions,
Yep.
it was just for the presentation that you're back up to
Wonderful.
present. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Michelle.
guys.
All right, that concludes our presentations. Again, I'm even more excited now than I was at the beginning from the Latinx Launchpad. So much energy from our entrepreneurs and startup founders. I felt the energy in this room increase as the presentations went on. So I think all of you were getting as excited as I was to experience this amazing journey that the founders are on. And I think to kind of just see our pipeline of entrepreneurs hopefully grow as a result of this series of Latinx Launchpad series that we're beginning today. Judges, would you like to share your impressions of the presentations that we've had so far? Just overall, that was my sort of just reaction and response to what I experienced. Any of you want to have a reflection on what you just experienced?
I'll just start to kick it off that those are great presentations and some very investable businesses that you all should take seriously and invest in. So that's the takeaway. I was surprised to the positive end.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the range of products and services that were offered and a mix across different industries, including across regions, like extending to Latin America. So great job selecting the companies.
Thank you, Carmen.
I would echo the same thing. The breadth of presentations on very unique and important things that we need to tackle as entrepreneurs to solve issues. All of them really with a social impact, social mission that speaks of our community, right? We're trying to solve things that most entrepreneurs has nothing to do with not having their mom at home, right?
Yeah.
Like all these white entrepreneurs so-called from Silicon Valley is about like, okay, I don't have my mommy around, what can I do? We are thinking about our community, how can we improve it? And that was obviously, evident from all the presentations. So really exciting.
Thank you. And that is our mission too with the Power Up Fund. So it was great to see it reflected on stage and hopefully continually reflected in the Latinx Launchpad series. So thank you, judges, for your time and support of this process as well. And thank you to the audience and for your feedback and support. I hope that you will provide that to our entrepreneurs that presented today. We'd like to announce that I think I announced this earlier. I announced that our second Latinx Launchpad will be held on October 19th at the SOCAP virtual conference. And that edition will spotlight, as I mentioned earlier, Latina founders and startup leaders. So please spread the word about that. If you know anyone who's on their own journey of a startup, please let them know that we are going to be focusing on Latina founders at that event, October 19th. This concludes this session. And we need to allow the judges some time to deliberate. I hope all of you can attend the reception to hear the winner, the announcement of the winner. That'll be exciting. So let's give the judges a real round of applause, and also to our presenters. Thank you, everybody.
That concludes our programming for this afternoon. Before you head out, I'd just like to share a couple of quick housekeeping notes. The poll for Latinx Launchpad will be open until 6 p.m. Please go on and cast your vote. And don't forget, at 6 p.m., the board chair reception is taking place on the deck on the 3rd floor. See you there.